The scene opens as the security cameras upstairs suddenly went blank, Homelander arriving at the underground vault lab, where he underwent several tests as a kid. The staff seem very afraid. Everyone is shocked that Homelander came visiting but at the same time scared. Homelander also brought some presents while also remembering them if what they did to him before saying it's just felt like reunion. Huey is seen in the hospital with his dad, who get informed by the doctor that his father has gotten to the stage where he's just a vegetables, meaning his brain cells are dead. He watched his dad with devastating gaze and walked out hoping to use Compound V on him to get him back alive. We then get glimpses of A-Train and Will Ferrell's The Blindside-esque film, Tech Night's show on the events at Godolkin. It's a Gen V reference, and Cameron Coleman doing a hit piece on Robert Singer for his anti-suit bill. Annie goes to meet Mr. Singer, and she is of the opinion that his legislative bill is great and it'll drive a stake through Vaught's heart if it gets passed. But since Singer's marketing is really bad, Annie isn't very sure if he is going to get the mandate that's needed for that bill to be greenlit. So she offers her services, which will basically amount to on-ground rallies regarding Singer's anti-suit bill, and she promises to do it as Starlight. In the last few episodes, Annie was unwilling to be Starlight again, but for the course of bringing Vought to the ground, she's willing to make another Starlight suit just to do so. Meanwhile, Frenchie feigns ignorance to get Colin to talk about his family. Frenchie allegedly killed them in cold blood. Apparently, Colin's mom used to be a lawyer, and she used to work on extremely violent cases. She crossed paths with little Nina, and it's obvious that she ordered Frenchie to kill her. Colin hid under the bed and saw the marks on the ankle of the killer. Frenchie immediately covers his ankle with the bedsheet, which means that he is still unwilling to come clean and tell Colin the truth about his involvement in his family's slaughter. Annie get back to the Starlight house to plan out the next phase of their marketing campaign with Kiara, who is recovering, and Colin, but they dash her sense of enthusiasm by showing the firecracker-led truth bomb show that's being organized right in front of their headquarters. Of course, Sister Sage is behind it all, as she is seen manipulating the public perception of Starlight via internet trolls and the algorithm. Then she proceeds to order A-Train to remember his talking points, projects Deep's advances, and gives Firecracker the ammunition she needs to take down Starlight. As Firecracker begins her alt-soup rant as she has 6 hours to bring the truth behind Starlight operation, the scene moved to Annie and her team as they all began moving the kids that they are sheltering so as to safeguard them from Firecracker and her army. Just then, Emma and Frenchie walk into the premises with Butcher, which triggers Starlight because she doesn't trust him. But Emma advocates for Butcher, so he stays, and Starlight is forced to cooperate with him. Meanwhile, Butcher tries to learn what kind of dirt Firecracker has on Annie, but she refuses to reveal anything. So Butcher decides to take the ugly route, which involves infiltrating Firecracker's party. Immediately, we are taken back to the underground lab where Homelander visits the scientists. Homelander reveals that when he was just a kid, one of the older scientists, Frank, used to play waste paper basketball while subjecting John to scorching levels of heat. It traumatized him, but since Frank was just doing his job, he doesn't really remember anything about those days. To give Frank a taste of his own medicine, he commanded Frank to get into the same oven he put him in years back. Frank apologizes, but Homelander paid no heed, screams as Frank burnt to death. Huey drives in texting as a train landed. He requested a dosage of Compound V, a train refused, but Huey isn't having it. He is very much desperate to save his dad, and of course a train owes him for killing his girlfriend. Just then, as soon as A-Train leaves, the sniper who seems to be aiming at Huey and Kimiko then fire on them. Kimiko spots the scared girl from the Shining Light Liberation Army and realizes that she is there to avenge all the people that Kimiko killed in their warehouse. She and Huey rushed into a building to take cover, where Kimiko then wrapped Huey's broken ankle. Teeth then join Firecracker in her quest event to tarnish Starlight as they both sing. M&M and Butcher make their way into Firecracker's vanity van. Butcher name drops Webweaver and something about a heroin enema, and it seems like the show's parody of Spider-Man is an addict. But instead of dwelling on that, the show focuses on Butcher's deteriorating health. Butcher asks MM to promise him that in case he doesn't survive the ordeal, MM should get Ryan away from Homelander and race him. Before MM and Butcher can get into the details of this deal, they spot Firecracker. So they decide to table the discussion and go and remind her of the instance when she partook in a little pedophilia during her stint at the Florida branch of Capes for Christ. Butcher tells Firecracker that if she doesn't reveal Sister Sage's plans, he's going to tweet about her past and undo all the work that Vought has done to make her appear like a saint in front of her evangelical audience. Surprisingly enough, Firecracker pushes the tweet button herself, and Butcher loses his bargaining chip. Next, Firecracker interrupts Ezekiel's Annie is the spawn of the devil rant to not only whitewash her spotty past but also use it as her jumping-off point for some Starlight slander. Firecracker says that Starlight has blinded innocent people during her rescue operations. Starlight tells a shocked Frenchie, Colin, and Kiara that she was learning how to control her powers before storming out of the room out of shame. Meanwhile, MMM and Butcher arrived at Starlight House while also giving Frenchie the key to Firecracker trailer. A train get to Homelander room's serious search of a dosage of Compound V, finally sees one, but unfortunately, he was caught by Ashley. Ashley asked A-Train what he was doing inside Homelander's room and why he was stealing the compound. A-Train in return ignored the question and also asked her what brought her into the room. A-Train immediately goes to check what she was actually doing in his room, only to find out that Ashley had left a floater in Homelander toilet. If you don't know what that means, a shit dump. She insisted that it was already there when she got to his toilet. A-Train then told her that if Homelander eventually figures out it was her who did that to his toilet, that would be her last ever shit would have. Since both have similar problems, it decided to keep quiet and act they didn't see anything. The scene shifts to Homelander calling Marty close to him and apologizes for what just happened to Frank. With tension and fear, Marty nodded in agreement. He reminds Marty of how he also treated him years back. Marty apologizes, but yet again, Homelander commanded him to jerk off in front of everyone. Still paying no heed to apologizes, laughing at him with no pity. So for Marty to take this seriously, Homelander give Marty the push he needs. Homelander tells him that if he doesn't achieve an erection, he is going to laser his Johnson off. A desperate Marty tries everything in his arsenal to do what Homelander has asked him to do, but he fails, and the inevitable happens as Homelander shoots a laser off his burner and eventually killed him. Huey and his partner, Kimiko, fought with every weapon they could find. Huey manages to kill one of them while Kimiko takes on a bunch of those soldiers. Then Kimiko calls for a truce so that she can converse with the scared girl. It's revealed that Kimiko used to be the muscle for the Shining Light Liberation Army, and she used to fight its trainees. The girl was one of the recruits, and Kimiko is the one who gave her that scar. Frenchie is discovered by Ezekiel backstage, and they get into a fight. He is violently thrown out of Firecracker's vanity van by Ezekiel. Butcher arrives to tackle the soup, and when Ezekiel stretches one of his limbs to catch Butcher, he uses the liquid nitrogen that he has been carrying since the beginning of this episode to freeze and break it off. Ezekiel uses his other hand to choke out Butcher, and this triggers a blackout. When Butcher regains consciousness, he realizes that he is covered in blood and the whole vanity van has been painted red with Ezekiel's guts and bones. MM and Annie arrive to rescue Frenchie. They notice the state of the van and wonder what Butcher has done. However, we get to see Homelander as he told Barbara that he remembered the room he is now, as he called it, the bad room. She informed Homelander that they were all on instructions, while also telling Homelander about the day he was born and how Homelander tells those doctors who delivered him from his mother Wum. The scene then cut to Colin as tending to his wounds. Frenchie finally admits that he is the one who killed Colin's family. Colin lashes out while beating him and tells Frenchie to never show his face to him again. We finally learn the use of the orbital class that was teased in the third episode of The Boys when Deke goes to Sage to address her erratic behavior. Sage says that since she is so smart, she is unable to switch off her mind and enjoy something as normal as sex, so she has to perform a lobotomy on herself and damage a part of her brain. Before it grows back completely, Sage is able to function like a regular girl. Just to establish how much she trusts Deep, she allows him to lobotomize her and then they proceed to get freaky. Back at the boys' HQ, Huey watches Neuman use Annie's latest stunt to tear her down. Annie gets there, and it's revealed that she did get pregnant with Huey's child and then decided to get an abortion. They try to comfort each other, but the damage has been done. Huey and Annie are sensible enough to see abortion as a choice, but it's apparent that the conservative crowd is going to use it as a polling issue and drag Singer through the mud, so Singer cuts all ties with her. Meanwhile, a train goes to meet Huey to give him the compound Villa, also saying he is aware that Huey won't forgive him, but just then Huey told him he is forgiving him and they both shake hands. Just then Butcher caught Huey with the drug and tells Huey it would be a bad idea to give that to his dad, but just then Huey then told him he has enough compound V for but Butcher and his dad, which can save the both of them. Butcher told him he already took some but it didn't give him powers. But Huey then left without taking his advice. The next day Huey goes to the hospital to meet his father, but changes his mind on using the compound. Just then, his mother informed Huey that his dad would be dead anytime from now. Huey goes out for some air and once he's back, he seems that someone had already gave his dad the drug, making him wake up. We then get to see Homelander with Barbara. Seems Homelander had already eliminated all the scientists working underground. Also, before we forget, Starlight fought with firecrackers. Annie to storm out and confront Firecracker. Annie starts bashing the living daylights out of Firecracker, and it's revealed that this was all part of Sister Sage's plan. She wanted the racist Firecracker to get pummeled, and she ensured that it was all caught on camera so that the footage could be used to tarnish Annie's reputation. This was the reason Singer cut all ties with Starlight. The episode then came to an end. Thanks for watching. Subscribe if you enjoy content like this. Goodbye.